Well, I read the research really carefully, and I'll tell you something funny. This coming week's episode, this Wednesday night, exactly the opposite happens. You'll see me in the war room, and I really get into it with Jesse about the Big Brother issue. To do a little segue here. I mean, he and I really got into it, and it wasn't fake. We got hot at each other. Because I was kind of saying, well, wait a minute. You know, I'm not saying the Patriot Act's a good thing, but you know, if a couple of terrorists are sitting on cell phones and they're at rallies having a burger and they're talking about blowing up the mall that I'm about to go into, with my family, I damn well want to know about it. He got really hot at me because that's the way I felt at the beginning of the episode. And what you don't see is because we didn't have time, is the end of the episode when I look at him and I go, I don't know if I can curse on your show, but I
don't.
No, I'm joking. I go, holy earth, you were right, and I was wrong. So the drama of the episode is real. And again, you'll see me in the war room just really getting hot at him, and he gets hot at me. So it's really interesting what happens, how we change during these shows.
Yeah, for folks that don't know, Jesse's for real. Getting to hang out with him over the last 3-4 years, I guess 4 years ago is when I first met him, and being off camera, he's really a smart guy. He's multifaceted, but he really does get angry in arguments, or not even so much angry. He gets very focused and very, very adamant and serious. Driving around in the hill country with him, I've had huge arguments. So when people see these arguments, this really happens. I mean, Ventura really does turn into a big bear.
Yeah, and he's passionate. He's absolutely a believer. We are not going to do a show unless he believes in it. And here's a guy who sits and reads all day long, spends his time really doing the research, really doing the reading. And we don't do a topic unless he believes in it. Global warming was a bit of a push, because as I say, at the beginning, he didn't believe in it, but at the end of the episode, and now with ClimateGate, he was totally a convert.
And it's not just a whodunit. Everyone watching is literally brought along with the process. And I have to say it, this is something new in reality TV. Usually it's some rich teenager with her boyfriends getting drunk and fighting with her parents on the telephone and car wrecks. This is a bunch of researchers and Governor Jesse Ventura literally trying to get to the bottom of something. You are transported there to the debates, to the interviews, to the different places in the world that you guys travel.
Yeah, and that, as I say, that backstage stuff or that war room stuff, that stuff is real. We, and you'll see there, our other guy, Alex Piper is his name, and he's our skeptic. He and the governor really get into it. I mean, you should see what happens off camera. These guys will just go toe-to-toe, and they'll battle it out. They will absolutely battle it out.
It's amazing. I know you don't want to give people too much of a spoiler on this, but for our listeners, Michael Braverman, executive producer of the #1 new television show on True TV, Conspiracy Theory, that airs 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central every Wednesday night. Give us a little bit of a window into this week's episode that airs in 48 hours.
Well, I want to say one thing to your listeners, Alex. If there's one show in this series that you're going to watch, make it this week. Because this week's show, and I obviously I have a little stake in it, but this week's show blew me away when I started doing the research. Staff and I started doing the research. I can tell you, without hyping it, there are two facts in this show, which is the Big Brother conspiracy, this Wednesday night. There are two facts that will absolutely blow you away. There's stuff that we uncovered that I didn't know about, and I'm a pretty good researcher, and we put it on the screen, and, again, I don't think it's hyping or being immodest to say that there's a couple of revelations, I'll call them, that will absolutely shock you and hit you over the head, and you're going to be sitting at home going, what? I didn't know that. And you know what? It's a call to action, because if we don't do something, in 5, 10, 3, 6 years, whatever it is, we are going to be living on the prison planet.
Absolutely. Now, talking to Ventura a year ago when the pilot was shot, which is the 9/11 episode, the rest of it was shot this year, and talking to you behind the scenes and others, whatever you want to say about the mainstream media, they have never allowed anything like this to air before, and was really hard to get this on the air. I remember just 2 days before the Harp special aired, Jesse privately said to me still, I don't think it's going to air. I mean, when you guys say that, that's not hype. Genuinely, Ventura didn't think it was going to air. I don't know how this Big Brother is going to air. I don't know how the 9/11 aired. Why? Because I know there's a lot of control over the media. You know, every person in a production company or at a network isn't a globalist agent. But they, don't like to go with things that are too controversial against the government. How is this getting on the air? I mean, how did you guys do this? I mean, you've done something no one's ever done.
Well, I give all the credit to the governor. The governor was so passionate, as I said before. He went to the network. I went with him, and he sat there and looked the boss of the network in the eye. I give everybody credit here, including the boss of the network. He looked him in the eye and said, "You let me do this show. You let me cover the topics and the information I want to cover, I will guarantee you people will watch." And that's exactly how it turned out. And, I'm the first guy, because I work in the TV business, I'm the first guy to, knock, finalist TV executives, because I've met my share of them. But I will give True TV an amazing amount of credit that they actually followed through, and they had the courage of their convictions, and they put the show on. And as I say, the governor lost his gentleman's bet with me and everybody else that the shows would ever see the light of day, but here we are. So it's kind of a miracle.
Well, Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. Folks, we need this show to continue to be an even bigger success, because this will force mainstream media to understand that the American people are waking up and want the truth, and that if the mainstream media doesn't start covering these issues, they're going to lose all their viewers. And I think at the heart of it, I remember 3 years ago, I was talking to a Hollywood film director. And I don't know if she's still there. I don't know the details, but he was talking about a new head of Court TV and that it was going to shift to a new format. And he said they were looking then at these issues. And then I talked to a BBC producer who also makes shows for the U.S., and I know that True TV, even 3 years ago, was looking at this. So I think Ventura, with his gravitas and his history, and yourself, Michael Braverman, the right place, the right time, the right people, the right brains. Cable television has to start doing something avant-garde to get viewers, and I think that's the real reason that this is airing. And also, you guys did this on a shoestring for TV productions, and so you guys also gambled a lot. You bet a lot of your time and energy on this, and so, again, I salute you, Michael.
Well, thank you, and our production partners did too, and again, I give all the credit to the governor, because he is the spearhead. He was the point of the spear on this whole show.
And you guys put amazing amounts of energy into this. Final segment with Michael Braverman, the executive producer of Conspiracy Theory. You can see it this Wednesday night. When we come back, we're going to do 5 minutes on next week's episode, Secret Societies. This one is a barn burner. Stay with us.